Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shani. If you're new here, welcome, and to my regular watchers, I love you. On the menu today, let's make these delicious Easter treats. You're gonna love them. Let's get started. Alright, so I'll just give you a quick rundown. We're using some store-bought ingredients for our shortcut recipe. So I have some water, some milk, some oil, and some frosting. I also have some sprinkles, and then here I also have some marshmallows, and then here I have the cake mix. This is the chocolate one for the donut, and it also comes with some frosting. I have the vanilla, and it has some sprinkles in there, and those are for the cupcakes. I have my Rice Krispie for my Rice Krispie treats, some eggs. These are some cupcake cups for the liners, and then we have some sticks that I may use or not, and then we also have our melting chocolate that I may also use. So let's get started with our first recipe. Also, this is our piping bag and our nozzle that we're going to use to pipe on our frosting. So here in the bowl I have my eggs, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the water and some oil to this, and this will be our liquid or liquid for our cupcakes. So I'll just whisk that up for a minute or so just to get them incorporated, and then we'll go ahead and add this to our dry mixture. So into a bowl, you want to go ahead and just pour in your cake mix. And guys, you wouldn't believe, this is the first time I'm using a store-bought cake mix. I always make my cakes from scratch. So just keep adding in your liquid and just give it a mix until all of the dry is incorporated with the wet. You don't need to over mix this, okay? So next we're going to go ahead and line our cupcake cups, and you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Aren't those cups cute? So this mixture will make 24 cupcakes. So you want to fill these up halfway in your tins, and they'll bake for about 19 to 20 minutes. Alright, so go ahead and get these into the oven. Alright, so after 18 minutes about, these are perfectly done, and I'll set these aside to cool, and then we'll go on and make our frosting. So here, just again, store-bought frosting. So I've just put that nozzle into the piping bag, and I'm just getting the frosting into the bag, and then we'll go ahead and use that to decorate our cupcakes once they've cooled off. And if you don't have one of these bags, you could just use a Ziploc bag that's in your kitchen already, and just go ahead and just place the nozzle into the corner of it, and then just get your frosting inside and just use that. You don't have to buy a separate piping bag just for this purpose. So just go ahead now and get the other color frosting in if you're using one. If not, just go ahead and start frosting your cupcakes. Go ahead and cut off the tip there so that the icing comes out obviously, and then start decorating. So of course you can put as much or as little frosting as you like. I just feel like this is quite a bit enough for me, but you can pile this much high if you like. So I'll just keep piping until all of the cupcakes are done. So now just go ahead and just put some of the sprinkles on, and these are so festive. They have some little eggs in there, and look how beautiful this is. So now let's get on to our next treat. It's gonna be our donuts. So similar process as to what we just did before. We're gonna go ahead now and just use some water in our eggs and some milk. This one we won't need any oil, and then we'll just go ahead and just whisk that up real quickly, and then we'll get that in with the dry. At this point, you want to up your oven to 375 degrees because we used 350 before. So I'll just go ahead and start mixing this up and get it into our baking dish quickly. Okay, so for this I'm going to go ahead and use another Ziploc bag. I'm going to be pouring the batter into this because it's going to be easier for me to get it into our donut pan. But if you don't have this, and you could just use the nozzle jar there and just pour it in neatly. So for this one, I'm definitely going to need a donut tray, but if you don't have that, you could just use a mini cupcake container for little donut holes. So go ahead and spray your donut tins, and this batter will make 12 donuts. So you want to fill these up about a third of the way. Alright, just give your pan a pat and then place it into your oven for about 10 minutes. So here we are out of the oven, and we're gonna let these cool on a cooling rack. And so here for the frosting, I have the frosting came in the pack, so that's good. You're also saving there, and a quick shortcut. So just add a little bit of liquid at a time. You don't want this to be too runny or too liquidy. So this consistency looks good. So now we're just gonna go ahead and dip in our donuts in there just to coat them really thickly like that. Or you could just make it a little bit lighter and just use a spoon to pour it on. Just keep dipping until all of your donuts are covered to your liking. Alright, so here I'll just also add some sprinkles to these donuts. If you like, you can leave them plain, but it just looks so festive. So here are our donuts, so beautifully laid out. The frosting is dried, and you're gonna enjoy them. So on to our last treat. Okay, so for this one, we'll use the stove. You're gonna go ahead and just melt some butter in a saucepan, and then you're gonna go ahead and add in your marshmallows, and then let this melt down. This will take about a minute or so. Just keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn or scorch. So just keep turning until the butter is melted and the marshmallows have come down to a creamy consistency. And then you're gonna go ahead and pour in your Rice Krispie treats, your Rice Krispies. So this is looking good. So I'll just pour in about 6 or 7 cups of the Rice Krispie, and then I'll just mix it up just to incorporate the marshmallow cream now with the Rice Krispies. And then I'll go ahead and just add in some M&Ms. If you find the color for Easter, go ahead and use that. Those are the pastel colors, but I couldn't find it, but I did want some color here. So now this is done. You want to work very quickly. Go ahead and get it into a parchment lined pan so that this will easy clean up and easy for you to handle. So we'll go ahead and get that in and just pat it down and let this dry for about an hour until it firms up. If you have the time, you can go longer. And this doesn't really get super hard. Alright, so this has cooled down quite nicely and set up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them into my desired shapes. So you can go crazy here. You can cut them small, you can cut them large, whatever suits your boat, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them in the shapes of some bars. And I decided that I was gonna dip these in some chocolate, but I've changed my mind against that, and I'm just gonna leave them as they are because they're quite sweet enough. So I'm just continue to cut these up, and then I'll probably just stud some more M&Ms in there just so that it looks pretty. Alright, so there's our Rice Krispie treats, perfectly done, and your kids will love them. Alright, so there's all what we did today laid out on a platter nicely for you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what you see, don't go without subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Happy Easter to you all, and I hope you try these treats at home for your kids and their Easter celebration. Bye now.